Hi, Nico. How's everything? I hope you had a great day. We're going to start today's classes. Um, I'm a little bit tired because I want to solve some problems, right? Because of my internet is not working at all. And I really hate this situation because I have some classes to take. But we're going to start today's classes, right? So I'm going to share my screen with you. 1 second. Okay. So yesterday we've seen, oh no, the last video um we've seen different kind of we stop in, give me a second. We stop in cohesive words, right? So now we're going to talk about types of paragraphs, right? As an extra information, right? Because we need to know how it works. So if you're going to develop an essay, then you need to know what kind of paragraph are you going to do, right? So first of all, let's watch this video. Okay.
So in this video, I will explain the types of paragraphs that we have to use in the English language. These are the most common used paragraphs that we can use at the time that we write some texts. There are some more, but these are the best. So I will explain you the descriptive paragraph, the narrative paragraph, the expository paragraph, and the persuasive paragraph. This is a brief explanation of each type of paragraph that I just very much. The descriptive paragraph describes something and shows the reader what a thing or a person is like. The description words appeal to the five senses: touch, smell, sight, sound, and taste. Descriptive paragraphs may be artistic as well as grammatical forms. So when we're going to want to describe something, and we need to remember that in the description, we give characteristics that can be perceived by our senses, like touching, smelling, seeing, how it sounds, how it tastes. We are in front of a descriptive paragraph. Then we got the narrative paragraph. This kind of paragraph tells a story. There is a clear sequence of action, beginning, middle, and end. Probably you won't find out the sequence of action complete with the beginning, middle, and end in one single paragraph, but that paragraph will tend to be part of something else, a bigger text. So maybe with the complementary paragraphs with another paragraph can add to the first one, you can have the whole narrative sequence complete. But if it is just a part of it, the narrative paragraph must shows probably the beginning, the middle, or the end, if it is not complete, but it has a sequence of actions. Then we got the expository paragraph. It explains something or provides instruction. It could also describe a process and move the reader step by step through a method, and it requires a research process or expertise on the time. So in this kind of paragraph, you're going to expose something and explain, giving information about how to do something. And in the fourth step, we got this description of types of paragraphs. We got the persuasive paragraph. It tries to get the reader to accept or share a point of view or understand the writer's position. It is useful to build an argument and often requires research. So in this persuasive paragraph, the writer tries to convince someone else, the reader, about a point of view or something that he's writing. Now, we're going to see one example of each type of paragraph that I have. First of all, the descriptive paragraph. The lights become brighter as the earth moves away from the sun. Now the band is playing music. and the power support pitches key higher. Joy is easier than experimental type of level. So here we got a description. Okay, we are using adjectives, for example, in this part, become fiber. For example, it gives the how or where there is moving. Okay. Then we have what the band's playing. Well, a blue piece of music. Okay. And the chorus pitches a key higher, and the key higher, or pitches a key higher, goes to the voices of the chorus. So it's giving a description of what is talking about. That's the reason we are in front of that description. Now, the second example, a narrative paragraph. It's been almost 15 years since our first round of police patrol. I was 39 at the time, 17 years out of school, married 12 years ago, general education supply. I see it in the Atlanta legislature have picked up and up, and several friends suggest that thinking that my work as a civil rights fighter and all the countries from the place could make me a good time. So narrative is given point in time. So 15 years, ran the original charge. I was 39 at the time. It gives you a point in the left. 70 years out of the business school. Again, giving you time. Married 12 years ago. So it gives again another point in time. So a frequency with narrative paragraph is giving points in a lifetime that gives you the narrative of a whole story. Now, next example. We got expository paragraph. All toilet flush tanks work about the same. It's flushed, line and connects the tank cover, opening the outlet and letting water flow into it. When the tank is nearly empty, the ball falls back in place and down. So expository, as we said, it gives you an explanation of something, how something is done, step by step, or to give you the instructions to solve the problem. So this is expository paragraph. It's exposing what happens when there's a toilet flush tank work. We give you the first step, okay? When it's flushed, the first step, okay? They lift the candle, the tank cover, opening the outlet and letting water flow. Second step, or is the consequence of the first one. When the tank is nearly empty, it falls back, replacing cover. This is the third step that goes right after the second. So it's giving you a list of steps of what or how something is working, and this is an example of an expository. And our last example, it's about the persuasive habit. Okay, so immigration contributes to American economy, like it or not. Despite recent concerns related to the costs created by illegal and some legal immigration states, this country has largely benefited from the skills, talents, and ambition of migrants bring back. So the United States must continue to welcome new legal arrivals, help those who are otherwise, the country will lose the advantages it has over other industrialized countries and so on. So persuasive. The writer is given in this part of the paragraph is given the support of why something is important. In this specific case, what is important for this narrative is to protect the immigration. So here in this, the first part, it gives reasons why it's important, and in the second part is the rest of the paragraph. Okay, this is the first part. Second part, we give you the sentence or the thesis that persuades others to convince them about the importance of this point of view. So it tries to convince, to share a point of view, it tries to persuade the other person, in this case, the reader. So here we have example of persuasive. So this is the explanation of how to paragraph. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much.
Okay, so it was everything about the video, and let's continue, right? Okay, so we stop in, give me a second, I'm looking for it. Where was it? Okay, yes. One second, please. Okay, so the other day, the last class, we stopped in give me a second. And we were almost to finish, right? We were almost there. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And once you can see it, please let me know. Give me a second. Okay, so it is loading. Okay, so we stop in this part, right? Okay, so authors sent or author's voice. So in this case, we could have different kind of paragraphs, as you've seen. The first, well, we have, as we are trying to argument, well, let's suppose that our essay is an argumentative essay. So you're going to say something and you have to explain the reason of it. Okay, right. In this case, right, we have some verbs, right, will demonstrate improving range of, well, seems to suggest, right, and can, tend to, right. We are using adjectives and cautious phrases, right? Runs through the paragraph and how the author opinion is illustrated through the text. It's a way, right, where the author tries to show it its point of, well, his or her point of view, but using different kind of verbs, right? I'm not gonna say, for example, or in this case, is trying to explain something since he or her point or comprehension, right? So let's watch the one there where this part of no more videos because we have seen one, right? So we're going to stop until that part, please. Oh no. Sorry. No, I thought we were near to finish. Okay. So when we're gonna talk about author's voice, right? You're gonna see that he's not saying or he's not using maybe the first person. I can generate a positive. No, it's talking about the as a third person, right? As this author is not included in this paragraph. So it's talking in third person. What it means? So you are outside there. Okay, so tend to support thus improving. So as you've seen, there is no inclusion in the author, right? He's not including himself or herself in the paragraph, unless you are going to develop a descriptive essay. I'm sorry, no, an argumentative essay, right? So in that case, yes, you can give your own opinion and then, or maybe others' opinion. But in this case, the rest of the essays, no, we don't do that. Okay, and we have can can is the caution, and red is the sense. Okay. We're gonna see a little bit of it. Give me a second. Okay, it is low. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen with you again. All right. Okay, so we have the academic voice in writing. A writer's voice is the way your personality comes through on the page, right? Via everything from word choice and sentence structure to tone and punctuation. Okay, there are many ways to achieve this through your choice of adjectives to reporting verbs. And this is something we'll learn, okay? The reporting verbs. So we have let, we're gonna report what another person has said, okay? So the ultimate goal of an academic writer, right? And it's hard to achieve, hence it only features in the exceptional and very good bands, right, of academic grades. So the first thing that we have to take care or to take in account is taking a subtle difference or showing shades of meaning, right? Selecting and reporting evidence, data or sources critically if it's an argumentative essay. Interpreting evidence to support your sense, choosing a persuasive structure for your argument, integrating the evidence. Okay, we're gonna continue, right? So, language, how to create voice. Language, right, and this is very important, language plays a significant part. So, we have adjectives, right? Significant, potential, important, instrumental. Maybe you're gonna need one of them. Then we have verbs, right? May, can, could, seems, stands to, claims to, justify, argues, right? In order to create this voice. Then we have adverbs, right? Very systematically, considerably, precisely, and then. And well, at the end, we can find the evaluation phrases, place to acknowledge, provides substantial evidence, and important quote. I'm going to show you an example, right? Okay. Okay. So in this case, we have we are in midst of the worst final crisis since the Great Depression. The crisis is the latest phase of the evolution of financial markets under the radical financial deregulation process that began in the late 1970s. This evolution has taken the form of cycle in which deregulation accompanied by rapid financial innovation stimulates powerful financial booms that increases, right? Government response, okay. We have this how can we say, in this case, right, we have an article, right, and we have some adjectives, verbs, and adverbs, right, and sometimes the students wonder what is an academic stance, right, and find it difficult to identify how it is used. This document, okay. Okay. In other words, in this part, you have to use the correct verb, right? You have to transmit, right, the text by the third person, not in first person, right? You're not going to find, unless you're talking about an academic argumentative essay, but then no, you're not gonna find something like that, okay? All right, so we're going to continue then. Okay, so finally, oh, we were in this part yesterday, sorry, we're going to continue. Okay, so we stop in this part, right? So we made the background. Okay, so we have the topic sentence, right? Key topic in this paragraph. We have the main idea, the topic discussed in more detail, example, support, evidence, data, statistics that show your development is valid. Okay, so we have the block. The block is what we've learned a minute ago, right? So we have, but in this case, right, we have the topic sentence, right, in one paragraph. In the same paragraph, we have the development, right, the topic discussed in more detail. Then we have the example. In the example, you can also use the support, the evidence, data, statistics that show your development is valid or credible. Then we have another one, okay, it is linked, and we're gonna find the second main idea. It's not the topic sentence, okay? It's not the topic sentence, it's the second main idea. Again, it is a topic discussed in more detail, right? And then you have the same examples and summary, right? Okay, so in point by point, right? It means an argument, we have to discuss something, we have to say the argument, right? For example, the key topic, a counter argument in this paragraph, okay? So what is the thing that you're going to discuss? Okay, so the main idea, you're gonna place it as a development, right? Again, you have to counter argument, okay? And it needs to be discussed in more detail. Okay, so for this part, right? For example, you're going to talk about euthanasia, right? Okay, I'm gonna choose my topic sentence. Then I'm gonna say, I'm gonna describe what others' opinion could be. For example, some people think that it's great to bring the vaccine, the euthanasia, for the euthanasia. So you have to be part of it or not, right? They agree or they disagree. Okay, so you're gonna take the first one. They agree for this reason, and then, for example, okay, then you're going to continue with the counter, right? With the other part of the argument, with the disagreeing part. Then we're going to continue then with the next paragraph. If you want to put it in a second paragraph, it's okay, right? Because it's a little bit longer. Okay. So if you're going to give, if you're going to argument something, you have to write the two parts of it. Okay. Okay. What else? Okay, give me a second. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you. But what is important to know, right, is only the first part, right? And we have to understand that an academic writing, right, can be defined as a formal type of writing that aims to clearly communicate complex ideas through clear and concise means, okay? So it should be clearly focused, logically structured, and supported by credible evidence such as data, facts, quotations, arguments, statistics, research, and theories, right? And it is commonly acknowledged that academic writing uses a range of specific academic features, right? Such as academic style, academic referencing, subject-specific vocabulary, exemplification, analytical and evaluative language, right? And academic grammar conventions, right? It's important to know because we sometimes get lost in that part, right? But okay, give me a second, please. I'm trying to find something. Okay. No, what I did. All right. Okay, so we're going to talk about the formality, right? I mean the vocabulary, right? Because it comprehends many parts, right? And this is important to know because there is I've seen uh, mistakes about this, and it's something that we have to know at the moment that we're gonna write an essay. So in this part, we're gonna discuss some of the key points in areas to be more formal in academic English writing, okay? Although there is no set rules on formality at university, and this information is accepted throughout most universities, right? And it's just a general one. And for example, we're gonna start with the contractions. There's, for example, right? All the contracted forms need to be in full forms, right? For example, it'll, it will. Okay, I'm not gonna write it'll. No contractions, please, no contractions. It will. Each by it is. There's by there is. Okay, and something important. The word, it's cannot. It's not can, not. It's not superior. This goes together. Okay, this is important to know. It's only one word, not two, right? And then we have, this is common. We have informal adjectives. For example, hard, easy, big. Okay, some adjectives are seen as informal. Okay, so try to, for example, if you want to look, if you want to use hard, try to look at synonyms for hard. Okay, it's key. This is a key part. If you don't know the meaning of course, you're not gonna go directly to the first meaning that you're going to find. No, you have to investigate if that's the correct meaning of it, right? It's an investigation, right? You have to you have to look if the resource is confiable, right? Okay. So we have difficult instead of saying maybe no, instead of saying hard, we can say difficult. It was a complicated. It was harsh, complicated, again, intolerable, unpleasant, undeniable. Okay, so as you can see, there is a big difference in adjectives. Okay, for example, if I want to say easy, but again, we are trying to sound more formal, and we're gonna say effortless. Okay, is easy, right? Instead of it was an effortless essay. Okay, elementary, manageable, simple, and complicated, right? So you have the synonyms. Or how about big? Alternative, more formal, could be a synonym: considerable, considerable, extensive, immense, substantial, and tremendous, right? So instead of writing it was a big, there is a big difference. There is a considerable difference. There is an immense difference, tremendous difference, and then, right? Okay, so in idioms, these are often seen as informal and personal. Every coin has two sides. On the other hand, okay, so we have to take care, right? Instead of saying every coin has two sides, hierarchy, road ahead, the bottom line, okay? So we have to take care in that part, right? And this is the key part: no personal pronouns, no personal pronouns, no personal pronouns, right? For example, I, you, he, she, you, they, and them, right? Try to avoid, please, personal pronouns. It's not about you, it's not about him, right? About her. So there is a use there as a subject, for example, right? Instead of saying it is, right? Or instead of saying, or instead of using a personal pronoun, you can replace it by their, right? there is a serious risk. Okay, there is a serious risk. And we're not saying we have or we are in a serious risk. No, no, no. There is. I'm a third person. I'm not part of the say. And then we can also use it as a subject. For example, it is impossible to, okay? And we can also use one as a subject. One may ask whether, okay? So instead of saying you, we're gonna use one, right? For example, one may ask whether. It's a formal version of you in plural. It's a plural of one, we can say, but it works as a subject. It's not a subject, but it works, right? Because the purpose of this is avoiding we have to avoid the personal pronouns. Okay, give me a second. Okay, we're gonna use passive constructions, right? For example, they can learn English effectively. Remember, we've learned how to use the passive voice, right? We focus on the receiver of an action, not in the doer. In this case, they is a doer, okay? They is a doer. So what is the purpose of this? Okay, no personal pronouns, okay? Instead of on it, we're gonna say English can be learned. Remember distraction. English can be learned effectively. They analyze the data and they discover the data was analyzed. Sorry, was analyzed. Today I had a problem, right? I was speaking in French, right? And I discovered one new word, and it was this one, right? It was this. I'm not sure if it was the spelling, right? But in English we pronounce sign. In French we pronounce like sign, right? It's difficult. So my professor told me, why you're pronouncing it as an English as an English pronunciation, and I was like, I got scared. So okay, we're gonna come back. We have to take care, right? Try not to use the active voice. We have to use the passive construction, passive voice, right? Passive constructions help to make your writing less personal, right? It's not personal. We have to take care. For that reason, we don't use personal pronouns, right? So it's an investigation that you do about the topic, right? But it doesn't include you. Okay, you're not part of the investigation, for example, right? You are only transmitting more information, accurate information to the science, maybe to a community, right? So let's continue. We have to use gerunds, the ing form. Present participle or gerunds help to create more complex forms, okay? For example, they have to speak English, wrong. Speaking English is necessary, right? There is a big difference in formality, so we have to take this into account. For example, if we understand the reasons behind, I'm gonna take the in this word, we're going to take this word and we're gonna convert into the conjugate into the ing form. Understanding, right? Risking, and we have more adjectives that we can use with the gerunds, right? So if we understand the reason behind, it's incorrect, right? Understanding the rationale indicates it sounds better, right? And then we're gonna continue with noun phrases. Okay, long noun subjects or objects are common in academic writing. Okay, we analyzed the data and we found evidence. Analysis of data provided evidence. Okay, so we're using nouns. Okay, analysis, right? I'm changing into the noun instead of using as a verb. We analyzed. No, that's a verb, but we use noun phrases. analysis of the data provided evidence, okay? We're not using personal nouns. They have many exercises to fill in the missing words available to learn from, okay? So instead of saying they have many exercises, I could say this is the word, right, available. It's not a verb, okay, but I'm gonna use the complex part, the complete part, right, of the word. The availability, right, availability of gap, the exercises, and he is learning, okay? We have to do it as formal as possible, okay? And then, yes, we have to use academic word list, right? High frequency academic words taken from an academic literature. So we have this list, okay? So, for example, establish. Okay, I guess it is loading. Okay. All right. So we have the subsist one, right? So this is a family, right? This is a family, and they appear with great frequency in in a broad range of academic texts. Sector, available, financial, process, individual, specific, principle, estimate, variables, method. Okay, I'm gonna take the link and I'm gonna put it into the oh no, I didn't create your classroom, right? Oh no, but we're not gonna use it because, well, this is only a recording, right? So you can also look for it in academic English, right, from UK, and you're gonna find it, right? The parallelism. Oh, okay. And we're going to finish in this point, okay? We have to use fixed academic phrases, right? So this can be incorporated easily into your writing, right? It can be said, or it could be argued that this is an academic phrase, right? So we actually use this voice. It's similar to the passive voice, but okay, we are trying to explain from the other point of view. I mean, I'm not saying it's not mine, okay? First of all, it's not a point of view. It's a sense that we could have, or we are going to develop about one essay. One major drawback of this approach is that, okay, one of the most significant current discussion in, it is important to note that, okay, and okay. All right, so we're going to stop until this part, right? So then I'm gonna see you the next class. Please remember when to stop in use fixed academic phrases, right? So okay. All right, so please try to watch all the videos that we have here. It includes many videos, right? A little bit of paragraphs, what kind of paragraphs do we have, and then as an introduction, right? So it's important to know and to watch those videos. So that will be everything for today. Tomorrow we're gonna continue with some tips or some advices that we can apply in our essay. At the moment we're writing in our, that we're gonna apply at the moment we're writing our essay. We are developing.